Las Vegas nights, Las Vegas fights.
You know Zoe mixed it.
Some of my niggas gangster, they gotta show they flag. Some of my niggas hustlers, they gotta get the bag. I like my hoes like my Glock, got that reflex gag. Came through with the part 2, now they big mad. Oh, they big mad, but they ain't big bad. Keeps a red bone bitch with a big fat ass. Them bitches ain't talking, let's stay talking about cash. She living for the moment, let's see if it lasts. Las Vegas nights, Las Vegas fights. 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 It's never too much drink. Fuck what they think. Bitches crying me a river while I laugh at the bank. If she wanna ride with me, she gon' do what it takes. Steady working on that pole. Let's see what it makes. Let's see if it shake. Let's see if it quake. Stay moving like a snake. Let's see if it break. I need the love and hate. Keep the game in the face. Her bestie gotta wait. They both ask for a taste. Las Vegas nights, Las Vegas fights. 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 Las Vegas nights, Las Vegas fights.
Cause all I want is something more to
went from the internet to private, just kept the etiquette and the self-respect. With tattoos on her neck, she's simple wet, and I'm on real limit. In the limo, while we puff from the spinach. When you live it up, ain't no limits. Fuck all the gimmicks. Is you with it or is you ain't? Just took another 100K out the bank. I wish I could sleep, but I can't. For another meal, I do what it takes, but I'ma make it leak until you faint. Got it swerving like a purse, python snake. That's the decor. Never know what to store. I'll take places that you never been before. Just smile when the chauffeur opens the door.
I have been a heaven soul, tempted by your hands and letting go. And then I went there to fall behind, leaning on a stranger time. All I want, a second or two, and all we got, the seconds to lose, and all I am is testify you. 'Cause all I want, a second or two, and all we got, the seconds to lose, and all I am is testify you.
What's cracking in this motherfucker? My bad about the 2-day hiatus. Okay. Or hiatus is what I meant. Hiatus. What the fuck wrong with me? But yo. Okay, I'm checking on something. Okay, I got it right here. Yo. I guess we got to talk about, I don't know. A fan come in here. What is fourth generation warfare? I don't know. I don't know, bro. There's a lot of chaos going on in the world right now, and I don't attune myself to too much of it because humans are full of shit, and that's really the basic. That's the bottom line to it. Shalom to the brother, David Howard. Okay, shalom to Willie up in this motherfucker. Appreciate the purchases. As y'all already know, I got the sale going. Kicked Out of Heaven, Volume 1, 2, and 3. The Black Man's Bible, Real Nigga Etiquette, The Ethereal Law, $100 right now. And you get the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women, Volume 1 and Volume 2 for free in the PDF format. Okay. And we're gonna spend some time with the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women. I know everybody's like, damn, that nigga didn't even really go into it and push it really. Yeah, it's because it was out of the price range of the layman, and their understanding of the quality of literature and purchase and spending big bucks on literature. Individuals like me and the librarian, we understand that there's books out there $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. There's books out there that are heavyweight. Okay. So the price range was too high. I didn't really want to scare anybody off and think, oh, this nigga is that type of thing. So whatever, but we will talk about it. We will go into some things that are pertinent to our situation, especially right now with everything that's going on. Somebody mentioned, somebody mentioned the dancing mania in a video I did recently. So I said, let's go ahead and spend some time with that because that is a subject that I haven't really done a direct video on. And there's many subjects throughout the whole Kicked Out of Heaven series that I didn't do direct videos on. And one of the reasons why is because of the a lot of negative energy I was feeling from the people, a lot of immaturity, a lot of hee hee ha ha. Americans think everything is funny. It's a bunch of goofball motherfuckers, and that's why we have the problems that we have today. We didn't necessarily have these problems in the last generations because the individuals, both male and female, were a lot more serious about how they carry themselves, um, how they perceive the world, and how they treated other people, and what they supported when it came to government situations. And we see where 10, 20 years of alcoholism and 10, 20 years of goofball ass antics and the neglect of monitoring the children, and also a bunch of fucking dancing, right? How many of you out here have watched, which we can all, agree that dancing is the root element of is a not only the root element but is a perfect example of how fucking goofball a motherfucker is. Now, dancing can stretch a long way when we talk about choreography. A choreography is a more of a detailed, elegant form of dancing when we want to correlate to ballet and things of that nature. It can be considered an art form, but we definitely can't say that twerking is an art form. Twerking is more of a mating call, similar to what birds do, and those are for the bird brains. Now, when we say bird brains, we can't say birds are fucking stupid, because they're not. They're very intelligent beings, but we definitely see what's correlated when we say bird brain is we're talking about the fight or flight mechanism. Um, Birds usually only fight other birds. When it comes to attacking for eating purposes, they do that from the sky, and it is swift and it is quick, and there isn't really a fight or a battle that ensues. Sometimes that happens, and that's only amongst your large wing birds like your vultures or your eagles or your hawks, or those what they call the aggressive, um violent birds, okay, the predatorial birds, okay, the pterodactyl, okay. And yeah, this is important. We're going to get to this, of course. The brother says dancing has mostly always been associated with the Negro. Back in the day, they called it shucking and jiving, right? Because when we talk about the Western psychosis of, I mean, the Western perception of what dancing is, it is an alleviation of the stresses of the day. Okay. But if you really had stresses of the day, you wouldn't be doing that much dancing, because it was physical work that was being done. And you're not going to wear out your body anymore with more physical work, because that's what dancing is. Now, ritualistic dancing um has always occurred, and we have to understand what goes on with ritualistic dancing is the same thing that goes on with any form of ritual activity, whether that be ritualistic sex, ritualistic cannibalism, ritualistic um honoring. There's a ritualistic honoring, there's a ritualistic cleansing. There's all of these things are based upon the psychological status of the group that is doing it, and what the intent is with the group understanding. So once again, it boils back down to manpower. Okay. So we have to understand that manpower is the agreement or the basis of mass hysteria, which can be ritualized. Okay. So when we have ritualistic dancing, to, like, for instance, the Irish jig, which is a dance that is correlated to the Los Angeles song, which is a Catholic song for dead babies. Okay. And the Irish jig, which you can look it up, looks just like crip walking. Look it up. Look it up for yourself. I don't need to look it up. Matter of fact, I'll see if I can find it for you right now. Let's do that. Okay. Let's see if we could do that. Because I didn't even mean to go down this route, but this is something me and the homie did discover when we was going over this and the origin of the name Los Angeles. Okay. This information that I talk about with the Irish jig is discussed in Real Nigga Etiquette, the Voodoo edition. Okay, let me see if we can find it. Okay, here it is right here. Hold on, I gotta do this real quick. I didn't know that I was gonna go down this route, but it's always better to show than it is to just talk about it. So let me see here. Let me see if we can find it. A good example of what the Irish jig looks like, which is connected to the song of the Los Angeles Lost Angels, I think is the name of the song. Hold on, let me see here. Let's see if I can find a good example of this. This is Irish step dancing. This isn't specifically the Irish jig dance right here. But let me see. Irish jig, Catholic song. Yeah, and it's really interesting. But you know, what's more interesting is is everything that I discovered with this dancing mania, which is what we're going to be talking about today, and the insanity that accrued from it. And okay, this is a perfect example right here. So let's do it. Okay. Okay. Let me show you so you can see for yourself. Okay. We don't have to talk the bullshit. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Watch this. Now these are some cheerleaders, so this isn't what they was doing in Ireland, but you saw the first couple of steps. See, look at that. Look at those steps right there. Okay. All of that is crip walking. Okay. And that's done by the cheerleaders of Notre Dame. Okay. So, and we know what Notre Dame means. And Notre Dame is Notre goes to is Irish for the French nor, which means black. Okay, let me see here. That's more like river dancing. It's got some elements of the crip walk up in there. I bet you niggas would be mad as hell. Watch. So this is where the slavery tap dancing comes from too. You see? Look at this shit. Yeah. So you know, yeah, you know, that's what we're looking at here. And you know, the name of the game is pretty clear. You know, a nigga like me, gangsters don't dance, we boogie, right? Is what it really happens. I don't dance, you know what I'm saying? Like I was correlating to birds and their dancing is definitely done for mating reasons, which is done usually by the male, who also shows a lot of colors and then the female chooses what they want from that. I mean, it just chooses what male she wants to nest with, quote unquote. And then you have after that situation, you have twerking, which is also considered to be a mating call. That's not really a form of dance. As you saw, dances, especially for the intellectual mind, and that would also encompass what crip walking is, because a lot of people don't understand that every set with inside crips have their own form of crip walking. There's not a standard, there's a standard one, and then they all have their own separate style. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, the Jamaican dancing, the Jamaican dance hall music that they do, and they even got Asian girls up in there now, I think, doing that shit. And all of that is just sexualized dry humping, which I look at as very inadequate. If we're gonna hump, let's go back to my house and we can do some real fucking. I don't need you rubbing your ass on me all in the public and we getting sweaty and stank and all of that other shit. Because if I get turned on, I'm ready to go. I don't play the beta male dumbass games. You know what I'm saying? So if a girl wants to, wiggle on me or whatever the fuck, go ahead. She wants to gesticulate and all that other shit is what they called it in the medieval times, is you're gyrating and gesticulating, which is an act of the dark one. Okay. I don't do that shit. Nigga like me, I just focus on my drinks, sit at the wall, even if I go to a strip club and a girl be dancing, out here, they don't get as creative as they would in, say, deep down Alabama or the Mississippi. You understand? The strippers out here, they just walk around the pole and wiggle and shit. They don't really be flipping upside down and jumping off the roof into the gutter and into the fucking security guards' shoulders and then bounce back on the pole and slide up and slide down. I'm doing all that extra shit. You know what I'm saying? Dancing to me is, there really is no there is no real true system of alleviation from your workload except for intoxicants. Why? Because you're going to have to get right back to your workload. It doesn't really matter, like, so vacations and running around and thinking you're going to play this position of missing in action, MIA, and all of this other shit. I despise, that type of activity, as it was also despised in the medieval times. If anybody was to commit suicide, they considered that to be a coward who is running from their obligations and their duties. So they took the stress to the extreme and they committed suicide. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people may need it. Everybody's not me and I'm not everybody. So, maybe the water signs and the earth signs, they like the dancing around and the jumping around. Me, sometimes that's why it's a little hard for me to even get up on stage and do my thing, because I'm not no. What do you expect from me? You know what I'm saying? You expect me to jump up and down and shit? Like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm not a clown, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And get the fucking audience involved. And I don't know. It's a weird space for me. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was chilling with my cousin over the weekend. He was like, "Man, have fun." And I'm like, "What do you expect me to do, dog? You want me to get up here and tap dance on the fucking table for you, dog? I'm chilling." Like, people be all up in my face and shit. "Man, you all right? You all right? You having a good time, man? You cool, man? You cool, man? Don't worry about me, dog. Go holler at a bitch." Like, my nigga, I'm not causing a problem. I'm chill, bro. Like, let me fucking chill. You know what I'm saying? I like the scene. I'm looking at the scene. You know what I'm saying? That's all there is to that, and people get very disturbed by individuals who are calm and relaxed and content within their situation. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be on edge and running around and all this hype shit. And then we have the situation with the masquerades that have been exposed with P. Diddy here, okay? And there's been a lot of, suggestion on who has been at these parties and whatnot. We don't know. This could be in American history the largest situation we've ever seen correlated to human trafficking, or the drugging of the people, or whatever the case, and the rapes and the molestations and all this other shit. Now, this is not the most extreme case when we come to the medieval times. You know what I'm saying? The medieval times had a very had a lot of situations that were discovered, and individuals were taken to the guillotine. Well, not the guillotine, because that wasn't around at that time. The guillotine came later, but the chopping block is what you want to call it. And the executioner had to sever the head of many individuals who were discovered to be, eaters of babies and some slaughterers of children and all this other crazy ass shit. So we might go over that in a couple of videos from now. But let's go into this dancing mania, because it was mighty fucking crazy. And real niggas, for the women that's out here that's listening, please understand, real men don't jump up and down and run around and do 5-year-old fucking bullshit. Real men are at all times are on their square about their environment, and especially nowadays, how many shootings have we had at clubs, and how many chaotic situations. When you enter in a club, this is not, you know a wholly safe environment, even though everybody be acting fake as fuck, like they cool with each other. Yeah, what's up, man? I ain't seen you, man, and blah 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 blah, and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't seen a motherfucker in so long, then that was the problem right there. You should be doing business with each other. And when you're doing business with each other, you're seeing each other every fucking day. You see what I'm saying? When you're handling business and you're discovering ways to create money, you're discovering ways to, develop more lanes for success, in whatever industry that may be, you're communicating with each other every day. Okay. So these club environments where everybody's dancing and bullshitting, they probably need to do that because they're condensed underneath the chaos of Western social influence, white boys influence. Okay. You sitting over there have to deal with their rules and regulations every goddamn day. And whatever they want to, even though they're cracking all the perverted jokes up in the fucking job, they're also gonna make you come down to the office, everybody, so we can have a fucking presentation on sexual harassment in the office. You know, um, yeah, but they're over here cracking the perverted jokes all goddamn day. So it's a ass backwards. It's a retarded system that a lot of people operate by when it comes to the job environment. So I guess they need it when they go to these club environments. They like to waste money on a broad that is a potential that they're most likely not gonna fuck on. And I'm the type of nigga that will go pick up the bottle, go pick up the broad, and bring her to the crib so I can fuck on. It ain't finna be all this other fucking weak ass shit. Motherfuckers do too much fucking weak ass shit. And you got to really think about that, because I'm going to do a video. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to do that tomorrow on Friday. The video on alcoholism, which I've never done. So, but I did speak on it with the classes that I did with Professor Shock, which was, it was good. But we'll go over it again because it's needed. Because you got to ask yourself, how much money is Hennessy or Casamigos making a weekend when you want to include the entire nation? B, the niggas have got to be seeing a couple of Billy every weekend, probably every day of the weekend. And a lot of people have turned into alcoholics not knowing what alcoholism is because they weren't educated on it. First time I was ever educated on alcoholism was when I had failed urine analysis for my probation I was on in high school. And I had like 2 of them, and they sent me to a class I had to take. And in this class, they went over alcoholism, they went over the DUIs, they went over the differences in between beer and wine and liquor. And man, I'm gonna tell you right now, motherfuckers, your average motherfucker don't know shit about how hardcore alcoholism is, how it's hereditary, how you know getting a DUI is actually a stage of alcoholism. Yeah, that's actually a stage. It's not just a charge you caught. It's a specific stage you're at of alcoholism. And we need to talk about that. But for right now, let's go in on the Dancing Mania. Let me read something that's directly out the book. Remember, get the Kicked Out of Heaven at kickedoutofheaven.com. You can also go to theblackmansbible.com. Get it, all 3 books, The Black Man's Bible, Real Nigga Etiquette, and The Ethereal Law for $100 right now with the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women for free. So let's get to it, right? All right. It says here, in the Rhineland, unconnected with the plague, because sometimes the Dancing Mania is called a plague. And the reason they do that is because the plague states that some outsource has affected you and it was an uncontrollable situation for you to be for the you protecting yourself um from that disease that came from an unknown source. That's what a plague is stating. So it's not really a plague, it's called a mania. And the reason why they, socially is not out here being called a mania was to not make the people seem like they were insane, for number one. And that also to show that to lessen the understanding of mass hysteria and mental connectivity in between all the people, of course. Okay, and that's what it is. It's mania. And then when you discover the Dancing Mania, they don't want you to discover the other manias, which are which, yeah, I think I'm gonna talk about that too. We'll talk about that too. I think I might go over the defloration mania real quick too, because it is sort of synced in with the current events of what's going on, and we need to get some rooter to the tutor in this motherfucking hymn. So this is the activity that was going on before a Negro was tap dancing. Okay. What the tribal dances were in Africa, we do not know. We do not know the ritualistic significance of the majority of them and what was going on in the yesteryear. Okay. But one thing I do know about tribal dancing is that a lot of these dances were done for a specific gas break in the cartilage, which allows a euphoria, which basically puts you in a dimension. Okay, especially if it's done off of other hallucinogens in assistance. So the breaking of the cartilage, the elbow is controlled by the cartilage, and every time you break it, just like when you crack your knuckles and you hear that pop, you're releasing a gas. Okay, so when you release that gas, it goes through the bone marrow and all of that other shit, and it assists in a euphoria. And this is the same case with dancing. And supposedly you could dance yourself into other dimensions, as is stated by tribal, but we don't know. Okay, that's not what we're doing. These motherfuckers today are dancing, especially the women that want to dance by themselves and don't want no man dancing with them. They're doing it for attention, and they're also doing it off of the lack of intelligence. Okay, you've never seen a doctor dancing. You've never seen a lawyer or a judge dancing. There's too much weight on the brain. There's too much responsibilities. There's too many intellectual pursuits and other interests to be attached to and to be involved in, inside of just flapping your arms and legs every goddamn where. Okay, so like the skeleton, right? Those are the dance of death. The skeleton's dancing. I'll show you that picture here in a second too. So here we go. In the Rhineland, unconnected with the plague, a new hysteria appeared in the form of a dancing mania. Whether it sprang from misery and homelessness, misery and homelessness. Let's look at that. How many times have you been at the stoplight and you see the crackhead dancing at the bus stop? Huh? How many times have you seen the crackhead, the wino, okay, the homeless, okay, dancing, and they're doing it in a format of not only seeking attention from those individuals who are around them, but also to block the responsibilities that need to be done in order for you not to be homeless. Okay. So, caused by heavy spring floods of the Rhine that year, or whether it was the spontaneous symptom of a disturbed time. History does not know, but the participants were in no doubt. They were convinced that they were possessed by demons. Forming circles in streets and churches, they danced for hours with leaps and screams, calling on demons by name. And the demons that are being referred to are the demons that came out of the vial of Solomon. Okay, so understand that. And these demons have names like Hanky Panky, Hokey Pokey, Flabbergast, what is it? Liberty Gibbet. What's another one? Yeah, those are the type of names. So please understand that. Snickers, shit like that. Those are the names of the demons. Anyways, to cease tormenting them or crying that they saw a vision of Christ or the Virgin or the heavens opening. When exhausted, they fell to the ground, rolling and groaning as if in the grip of agonies. As the mania spread to Holland and Flanders, the dancers appeared with garlands in their hair and moved in groups from place to place like the flagellants. The flagellants are the individuals who sacrifice themselves for the sins of mankind by imitating the process of the death of Christ by whipping themselves on the back until they bled. Okay, so they were chiefly the poor peasants, artisans, servants, and beggars, with a large proportion of women, especially the unmarried. Ain't that interesting? Who's at the club? A large proportion of women that are unmarried. Huh? Sexual rebels often followed the dancing, but the sexual rebels often follow the dancing. This is the party that turns into the orgy. Okay. But the dominant preoccupation was exorcism of devils. In the agony of the times, people felt a demonic presence, and in their minds, nothing pointed more surely to Satan's handiwork in society than the fashion for wearing pointed shoes, as you wear your hard bottoms when you go to the club. But the pointed shoes has a whole nother science to it that will be expanded in the new version of the Kicked Out of Heaven, and we'll be discussing later. Okay. But understand all your hard bottom shoes have pointed toes to them, right? Okay. Which they had so often heard denounced in sermons. Something slightly insane about this crippling frivolity made it in the common mind the mark of the devil. Hostility to the clergy marked the dancers as it had the flagellants. In their anxiety to suppress the craze which menaced them, priests performed as many exorcisms as they could while the public watched, sharing in the presence of demons. Processions and masses were held to pray for the sufferers. The frenzy died out within a year, although it was to reappear on and off over the next 2 centuries. Whatever its cause, it testified to a growing submission to the supernatural, of which the Pope took notice. In August 1374, he announced the right of the Inquisition to intervene in trials for sorcery, heretofore considered a civil crime because sorcery was made to work by the aid of demons. Gregory claimed it lay within church jurisdiction. Okay. In their anxiety to suppress a craze which menaced them. So anxiety is sourced by you trying to stop yourself from doing something that obviously it is a demon that is influencing you to commit the act. Do you see how this works? That's why motherfuckers be mad at you if you're calm. Okay. That's why motherfuckers be mad at you if you are, cool and calm with the scenery, and you're watching your corner, because you're supposed to be inside the demon craze, which you must also understand that demon crazy is the root to the word democracy. Do you see that? Look at the chat. So the dancing becomes an orgy at the Diddy party, right? And you see the science of the word taint, okay? On how the word did or did he do it or did he not? It's all tainted now. The word did is filled with this disgust of what was occurring at the party, and we don't even know what was occurring at the party by literal. Nobody will ever know except for those who were there. But guess who else knows? The ether. And the ether has now adjusted the energy to the word did because of the way the people are suspecting of the activity that was going on, which opened up that door to bring in the truth into the word. Okay, so now you don't even want to use the word did anymore. Okay, because it is filled with taint. It is unspeakable. Okay. Okay, so watch this. A curious children's pilgrimage is reported from Erfurt in the year 1237. Unknown to their parents, more than 1,000 children left the town and wandered, dancing and hopping across the Steigerwald to Arnstadt. Not till the next day did the parents hear of the occurrence and fetch them back on carts. No one could say who had taken them away. Many of them are said to have remained sickly afterwards and to have suffered particularly from tremors in their limbs and even from fits. Now, this is what I say in the book real quick. It would be wise for us to note that if there is no knowledge of demons, then the church cannot claim jurisdiction over the matter. This is part of the reason why theology is invisible in America's law, but that does not mean it is not there and it is not applicable to the soul when judgment is passed, in which it is. Also, we see they have a fully detailed court system 100 years before exploration to the countries, to other countries and enslavement of other people began. Hence, all indigenous people have no true knowledge of the essence of the social, cultural systems of Europeans, especially their law. Taking theology out of court and law removes the social intelligence of devils and their operations, but this does not mean that the devils aren't still operating. Also, the name Frisk is the name of a cat food. Back to the facts. Yeah, because Frisk is also one of the names of the devils. A lot of the products that we buy are names of devils. And people don't know that. It's all a witchcraft system. You have to understand that the Catholicism can't operate without witchcraft, and witchcraft can't operate without Catholicism. So basically, Europe is the Catholic country, and America is the witchcraft country. So let's keep going here. Okay. It was called the Dance of St. John or of St. Vitus, which is also Vitus for vital, like the vital organs. Okay. And also St. Vitus was a little 8-year-old boy who was boiled to death in Rome. Okay. So I have him as the cover of one of my videos recently that I just did. Okay. So anyways, on account of the Bacchantic leaps by which it was characterized and which gave to those affected while performing their wild dance and screaming and foaming with fury all the appearance of persons possessed. They formed circles hand in hand, like Ring Around the Rosie, right? And musical chairs. Any form of dance that's done in a circle is done in correlation to devil worship. All right. They formed circles hand in hand and, appearing to have lost all control over their senses, continued dancing, regardless of the bystanders, for hours together in wild delirium, until at length they fell to the ground in a state of exhaustion. They then complained of extreme oppression and groaned as if in the agonies of death, until they were swathed in cloths bound tightly around their waists, upon which they gained recovered and remained free from complaint until the next attack. Okay. While dancing, they neither saw nor heard, being insensible to external impressions, through the sense, but were haunted by visions, their fancies conjuring up spirits whose names they shrieked out, and some of them afterward asserted that they felt as if they had been immersed in a stream of blood, which obliged them to leap so high. Okay, so uh right. So as we were stating, um when we're talking about names being shrieked out and the names of the devils that were being announced during that time, we have to understand that murmuring or mumbling and being incoherent of the English language is also devil language, is what people don't know. Okay, because there is what is right, and what is right is comprehensible. So anything that is in error, that is incomprehensible, is also the reflection of the dark one. Okay, which is confusion, which is also a sign of the tongue being ripped out, which the tongue being ripped out is also a sign of you committing some form of crime that enforce that as your consequence. Okay, let me see here. Let's read some more here. Yeah, this is all in the book. This is why this book is so powerful, my nigga. If you don't got this shit, you don't know what the fuck you're living in. Look at this shit. It's right here. Reynold mentions the word Friskies as the name of a spirit, but this mistake is easily accounted for by his ignorance of the language. For according to the Chronicle of Cologne, the St. John's dances sang during the paroxysm. Here's St. Johann, so Rish and Row. Here's St. Johann. Okay. But yeah, we're talking about Friskies. Okay. And that wasn't wrong. That was most likely correct. There wasn't no um, lack of understanding of the knowledge, because we find Frisky as a cat food. And what do they say about cats? The cats are with the witches. Do you understand? So we're going to feed the demons to the witches, is how that works. You see the labeling of the word, because everything is controlled by water. So when you can change the vibration of water by writing a simple word on the jar or whatever container you're using, and then that energy from that word will go inside of the water, change up the the what you want to call the shapes of the organisms. I mean, not the organisms, the shape of the molecules. I'm sorry, the shape of the molecules, which predicates it to be either a positive or a negative. And when you change up those shapes, okay. So you could also do this with rock and roll music or rap music, and the vibration that goes into water changes up the molecular structure of that water. And that's what predicates it to be a negative or a positive. If it's a negative, then it is a devil. Okay. That's all there is to it. It's simple. So let's read some more here. And then we're going to go into a little bit on the masquerade. And then we're going to go into the defloration mania, because there was many manias going on. So we have to see that a lot of these things that are plaguing the people today is not of our culture structure. This is not us. It's now become a status of option for you to either get involved with or not to get involved with. And you can only uh, have an option once it's identifiable. If you don't identify what the true action of a thing is, then you are a victim of your own ignorance. Okay, is how that works. And this is just the name of the game. So a few months after this dancing malady had made its appearance at Aix-la-Chapelle, it broke out at Cologne, where the number of those possessed amounted to more than 500. And about the same time at Metz, okay, like you see the Mets baseball team, okay. Not only that, but Mets for the baseball team also equals into meteor for what they're representing. Anyways, the streets of which place are said to have been filled with 1,100 dancers. Peasants left their plows, mechanics their workshops, housewives their domestic duties to join the wild revels. And this rich commercial city became the scene of the most ruinous disorder. Secret desires were excited, and but too often found opportunities for wild enjoyment, and numerous beggars, stimulated by vice and misery, awaited themselves of this new complaint to gain a temporary livelihood. Girls and boys quitted their parents and servants their masters to amuse themselves at the dances of those possessed, and greedily imbibed the poison of mental infection. Above 100 unmarried women were seen raving about in consecrated and unconsecrated places, and the consequences were soon perceived. Gangs of idle vagabonds who understood how to imitate to the life the gestures and convulsions of those really affected roved from place to place seeking maintenance and adventures, and thus wherever they went spreading this disgusting spasmodic disease like a plague. For in maladies of this kind the susceptible are infected as easily by the appearance as by the reality. At last, it was found necessary to drive away these mischievous guests, who were equally inaccessible to the exorcisms of the priests and the remedies of the physicians. Strasbourg was visited by the dancing plague in the year 1418, and the same infatuation existed among the people there, as in the towns of Belgium and the Lower Rhine. Many who were seized at the sight of those affected excited attention at first by their confused and absurd behavior, and then by their constantly following the swarms of dancers. These were seen day and night passing through the streets, accompanied by musicians playing on bagpipes, and by innumerable spectators attracted by curiosity, to which were added anxious parents and relations, who came to look after uh, those among the misguided multitude who belonged to their respective families. Okay. Let me see here. Many hundreds of men and women began to dance and jump in the public marketplace, the lanes and the streets of Strasbourg. Many of them ate nothing for days and nights until their mania again subsided. The plague was called the St. Vitus's dance. Okay, let me see here. There's many stories about these dance plagues through in this book. Okay, it goes on for pages, and it's very detailed, and that's why you must have it now. Do you understand? Let me see here. I'm looking for some. So, comparing to the dance that I showed you in the beginning, it would also lead to an activity like this. Let me see here. Let me read this. According to an oft repeated tradition, 18 peasants, some of whose names are still preserved, are said to have disturbed divine service on Christmas Eve by dancing and brawling in the churchyard, whereupon the priest Reprechi inflicted a curse upon them that they should dance and scream for a whole year without ceasing. This curse is stated to have been completely fulfilled, so that the unfortunate sufferers at length sank knee deep into the earth and remained the whole time without nourishment until they were finally released by the intercession of two pious bishops. It is said that upon this they fell into a deep sleep which lasted 3 days, and that 4 of them died, the rest continuing to suffer all their lives from a trembling of their limbs. Now, this is correlated to what you saw Bugs Bunny do on a couple of cartoons, just stand still in one place and just keep on dancing until he was all the way up to his waist in one location. Right. So, yeah, they slipped their history on you in many different ways. And basically, they told you without telling you. All right. Let me see here. Let me see what we have here. Now, we have to understand that when we're talking about a time period like 1374, this is right after the plague of the Black Death, which occurred in 1347. Yeah, TikTok has reinvented the craze. Yes, TikTok is definitely um well, TikTok is just TikTok. TikTok didn't really invent the craze. The homeless, the people who are homeless And the bums who have nothing in their brains and don't understand anything about their society, they go dancing around and jiggling their fucking parts. I'm so glad I grew up in a time period where there were no cell phones, because just by the way, I'm built, my natal chart clearly states that I despise the shit quickly, and if I was to see my mom dancing in front of a fucking cell phone, 30, 40 years old, and I'm your little child despising, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Is going to come in. Okay. And because you're doing an activity that really has no ending, there's no gain, or um, nothing accumulated. There was nothing created here. There's nothing physical or tangible after you get done doing all your fucking silly ass dancing. Okay. So if we were to compare dancing to a form of working out, then maybe we give it a little bit of room there, because after working out, you do get, there is something gained. You have more strength. You have more, capabilities and endurance that comes with working out. You see what I'm saying? So that's important. But dancing can be, let me see here. Let me see what we got here. Yeah. So this is what was going on with the here we go. Here we go. Let me read this real quick. Let me read this one chapter, and then we're gonna go to the masquerades real quick. This one paragraph. The dancers were, for the most part, poor and illiterate people. What did I just say? What did I just say? Okay. The intellectuals and the rich. Okay. You've never seen Jay-Z dance. Okay. You've never seen, you've never seen a Jeff Bezos dance. Okay. You've never seen Mark Zuckerberg dance. Understand what I'm saying? This activity is exclusively, okay, the dancers, for the most part, are poor and illiterate people. In addition, a large proportion of them were, it seems, unmarried women. Okay, which is uterus is alien. Got you jumping around, gesticulating, ain't doing shit. Part of the explanation for this may be individual hysteria, but there have always been eager virgins and frustrated old maids, and such ladies do not always join in hysterical mass demonstrations. Witchcraft was increasingly being associated with women, and the special position of the female sex in these movements must be considered, which would also fall into the category of mating calls, which is to distort your attention span, okay, and fuck up your focus. All right. The plagues and families, with their concomitant shifts in population distribution, the countryside being in some measure abandoned for the prosperous towns, may have put women in a peculiarly difficult position. Women tend to outlive men. Often the old or even middle-aged mother, aunt, or grandmother may have been left at home and lone in the village while the family went off to town to get better work. Perhaps the plague had carried off most of her contemporaries, increasing her sense of isolation and bitterness. Reliable demographic statistics are lacking, but men may conceivably have suffered greater mortality in the plagues, increasing the number of women that were left alone. If women did in fact feel particularly anomalous and helpless in the changing society of the 14th and 15th centuries, they might well have tended more readily to participate in the antisocial frenzies of the dancers or the rites of the witches. Antisocial from being neglected, which which we could definitely see what happened with the Iraq war when Bush sent all of our soldiers over there to Iraq to fight the bullshit. A lot of women were left neglected, and then those women who were left neglected by rights of having a father or a brother or a lover or a husband, those women defaulted into drugs and the club environment. And also for those soldiers who were psychologically affected by the events that they witnessed in the during the course of battle in war, came back and looked for alleviation. And that alleviation was found in drugs. And some of these drugs may had already been addicted to because of the hospital. And they also found, good time and hanky panky at the club. Okay, and that's just what the fuck is going on. And that's why you have to get this material, because of the style it's written in. Do you see the wordplay that I was just using with you? So you have to understand that because of the way it is written, that you get an extra layer of the process of law, and also the jargons that are used not only in law but also in the medical industry. Okay, and in the industries of engineering, which every industry uses engineering. Hence, in the medical industry, pills have to be engineered. In the military, guns have to be engineered, trucks and all of this other shit. And when it comes to even monetary, cash has to be engineered. And this is the style of litigation, that of wordplay and jargon that is used, because it comes from European culture. Do you understand that? And you are behind enemy lines underneath the cloak of European culture. And there isn't an African culture, there isn't any other form of culture in the world that can assist you in these areas. Why? Because they are all controlled by orders that are created by Europeans, my nigga. Okay. So just learn European culture and trump all the dumb shit is all you got to do. You understand? Okay. Let me see here. Let me see what we have here. I wanted to talk about one of these stories. One of these stories is where a bunch of children they went to a bridge and started dancing on the bridge and broke the bridge in half and drowned. Okay. And then there was different forms of dances too. So you have the tarantella dance, which supposedly came from a bite from a tarantula spider. Okay. So let's go over here to the masquerade section real quick. We've talked about the dancing. So we're going to talk about what this section is called. Let me show you what this section is called. This is directly to the puffy, the black man devil, and the devil's darling. Who is he holding? So right here you see Puffy, and right here you see Justin Bieber. Isn't that sweet? Okay, isn't that phenomenal? Okay, so let me see here. So here we go. When a human being, man occupied the chief position at these meetings and directed the performance of the rites, he would sometimes appear in a hideous and grotesque disguise, sometimes without any attempt at concealment. This masquerade generally took the shape of an anima and had its origin in heathendom, whence by an easy transition through the ceremonial of heretics, it passed to the sorcerer and the witch. As early as the Liber Penitentials of as Theodore, Archbishop of Canterbury, 668 to 690, we have a distinct prohibition of this foul mummery. Like I said, mummery, right? The Capitolum denounces the man who, in calendars, no, that's written in another language. If anyone at the calends, which is calendar of January, goes about as a stag or a bull that is making himself into a wild animal and dressing in the skin of a herd animal and putting on the head of beast, those who in such wise transform themselves into the appearance of a wild animal, penance for 3 years, because this is devilish. The gods of all mythology systems, the gods and goddesses, are all correlated to the animals, and they all appear in animal heads. Remember that part. So, among the many animal forms which the leader of the Sabbath, the devil, assumed in masquerade, the most common are the bull, the cat, and above all, the goat. Thus, the Basque term for the Sabbath is akalar, goat pasture. Sometimes the leader is simply said to have shown himself in the shape of a beast, which possible points to the traditional disguise of a black hairy skin, horns, hooves, claws, and a tail. In fact, the same dress as a demon wore upon the stage. In an old German ballad, Druten Zittung, uh, printed at Smalcald in 1627, to be sung to the tune of Dorothy. It is said that the judges, anxious to extort a confession from a witch sent down into her twilight dungeon, the common hangman, dressed in a bear skin with horns, hooves, and tail complete. The miserable prisoner, thinking that Lucifer had indeed visited her, at once appealed to him for help. Here we have a curious and perhaps unique example of the demoniac masquerade subtly used to obtain evidence of guilt by a trick. The Aberdeen, okay, hold on, let's read that again. Here we have a curious and perhaps unique example of the demoniac masquerade subtly used to obtain evidence of guilt by a trick. I do believe that is the entire Diddy situation right there. The masquerade is subtly used to obtain evidence of guilt by a trick that it is a white party. And all of y'all were tricks up in there paying for the booty. You understand? Yo, the Aberdeen witch, Janet Lucas, in 1597, said that the devil was at the Sabbath, being in likeness of Ann Besset. But Agnes Webster of the same company declared that Satan appeared to them in the likeness of a calf. So possibly two masquerades were employed. Gabriel Pell in 1608 confessed that he attended a Sabbath presided over by the devil, and Le Diable Estuit and Veche Noir. Okay. Francois Secretain, who was tried in August of 1598, saw the devil, ten tossed and formed a shot, which is to turn into a goat, turned it to the form of a goat. I mean, of a cat. Sorry about that. And to the goat, there are innumerable allusions. In the Basque Pyrenees, that's written in another language, the devil appeared in the form of a goat having a tail, and his fundament was the face of a black man. Okay. His fundament, nigga, the posterior, nigga, the ass was the face of a black man. Okay. Lohanes de Aguirre said that there was in the midst of the ring an immense pitcher whence the devil issued in the form of a goat. Okay. Gentine Leclerc, who was tried at Orleans is really how it's enunciated, not Orleans, it's Orleans, in 1614, said that he was told his mother, when he was 3 years old, presented him at the Sabbath to a goat whom they saluted as Aspic. Okay. The first ceremony of the Sabbath was the worship of and the paying homage to the devil. It would seem that sometimes this was preceded by a roll call of the evil devotees. Agnes Sampson confessed that at the meeting in North Berwick, when the whole assembly had entered the church, the devil started up himself in the pulpit like a mickle black man and calling the roll. Everyone answered here. Mr. Robert Grierson being named, they all ran hurdy-gurdy and were angry, for it was promised he should be called Robert the Comptroller, alias Rob the Rower, for expriming his name. The first thing he demanded was whether they had been good servants and what they had done since the last time they had convened. Okay. But these early Christians did not conceive a devil in human form. For example, in the life of Saint Anthony, a tribute in 360 AD, attributed to Athanasius, devils appear in many guises. In addition to a black boy and a huge man, they come as a beast like to man, having legs and feet like those of an ass, and as leopards, bears, horses, wolves, and scorpions. Puffy was a Scorpio. Remember that shit. The lion was roaring, wishing to attack, the bull seeming to toss with its horns, the serpent writhing, and the shapes of the dove and the lamb, holy symbols, were forbidden. Devils frequently changed their shape, taking the forms of women, wild beasts, creeping things, gigantic bodies, and troops of soldiers. At another time, they assumed the appearance of monks and feigned the speech of holy men. Okay, here we go. Y'all wasn't ready. You niggas not ready. Yeah, that's right. This is what's going down, B. It's been going on for a very, very long time. Okay. Before a nigga even got his ass on the ship, this is what these folks was doing over here in Europe. Now, let me see if I can find this defloration mania, and then we're going to get up out of here in this motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, man. So all that dancing and hopping around and looking silly and shit, you're going to get your ass fucked up. Oh, the defloration mania was right before the dancing mania. How interesting. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, so let's see how these Europeans is really moving and how they really think about brothels and young girls and all this other shit. So you see, it says the defloration mania. Let's read. Okay, this is the importance of reading. Okay, let me see where I'm gonna start at. I'll just go chaotic right quick. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, let's go chaotic real quick. So, so I'm about to do a lot of reading because this section is wild shit. Let me tell you something. This defloration mania section, I could have stretched it out and went and researched and found more material, but the energy was so crazy. I felt as if I had enough. I had to shut it down and keep on moving. Okay, so here we gonna go. Okay. The practice of flagellation has generally been associated with the English educational system and the harsh naval life of the day. But the nabobs have been held responsible for the rise of a second perversion, more widespread in the England of the 18th and early 19th centuries than anywhere else in the world. The mania for defloration. For a visitor to a brothel to demand virgins indicates not only the possession of considerable funds, but in addition and in particular a degree of moral derangement amounting to definite eccentricity, as there could be no question of such a male expecting either special cooperation or any specific experience from such girls. He would be attracted merely by the prospect of destroying the innocence of a young, unsuspecting female. Destroying the innocence is the energy gain they operate by. Okay. But however peculiar this mania may appear, and however incomprehensible it may seem to be a normally sensitive being, it was nevertheless rife in the London of George the Fourth, 1762, 1830. It was rife. Bauds and the police agree that a good deal of the activity of brothel keepers consists in procuring fresh merchandise. So as to be always prepared, the girls must be at least 16 in order not to expose clients to prosecution, and must be able to produce proof of virginity in order to justify the high price charged in such cases. Many of the young women endured the medical examination and what followed it good humoredly and for a good fee. Others had to be drugged, or if the client objected to that, reduced to obedience by blows. Blows meaning violence, hitting them. Okay. And therefore, quite unconscious of having been deflowered, remained in the house where they had been ravished, or after one escaping, soon returned to the pavement. From the case of a single one of those shady gentlemen, a rich London doctor who had up to 70 virgins placed at his disposal every year, it may readily deduced how many London girls were lured in this way onto downward paths. Yes, nigga. Yes, let's read. Okay. The London trafficking girls had a unique character and a decided bent in a certain direction on account of the widespread demand in England for virgins, i.e., the specifically English defloration mania, which was met with nowhere else in the world to such a great extent and accompanied by such brutal practices. The study of this morbid demand for virgins throws a surprising light on the influence of suggestion and on the fact that sexual customs and perversities are spread through imitation, and that it is not always necessary to look for a pathological reason for these abnormalities. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so here goes some of the psychosis behind it. One man requires 70 virgins a year, but would willingly take 100, and a doctor deflowered 3 virgins in a fortnight. Fortnite, like the video game. All right. If an explanation is sought of the reason why amongst the English defloration mania should have reached such epidemic dimensions, account must not only be taken of the horrible results of this passion, in which the worst side of the British national character came into play, but the deeper psychological basis must be sought for. For the Englishman, only the best is good enough. He must have something which can only once and by only one person be possessed, and of which he can boast before others. So that's the attitude where we find the one of one mentality. I'm a one of one, or this vehicle is a one of one, and this is exclusively for me. This comes from the English, and the English enforced the same mentality amongst the virgins that they would order, through the magazine, back in those days. Okay. So, he must have something. Yeah. Okay. I'll read that again. He must have something which can only once and by only one person be possessed, and of which he can boast before others. This is the case as regards the virginity of a girl, which attracts the Englishman primarily as something select and unique. According to an English author of the 18th century who discourses in detail on the pleasures of defloration, the desire to seduce a virgin is an acquired taste, but nonetheless the acme of sensual pleasure. One holds truly that the enjoyment of a virgin, from the point of view of the physical as well as the psychic experiences of the seducer, is the highest peak of sensual pleasure. In the first place, a man's fancy will be inflamed by the prospect of the enjoyment of a woman whom he has long desired and tried to win, and who has never before, as he believes, been in bed with a man, in whose arms no man has yet lain, and whose virgin charms he will be the first to see and triumphantly enjoy. This exquisite work of the fancy prepares the body in the highest degree for sensual pleasure. The author then describes in great detail the delights of the defloration, and which special enjoyment dwells on the cries of pain and the resistance to seduction made by a virgin. So you understand, this is deeply involved in their cultural thinking. Now, it is, I'm not going to lie, I want a clean woman. I don't want somebody who'd have been ran over. I don't support whores. I don't, nigga. No, I'll never wake up to that shit. I don't want no scarred up, fucking shitted on woman. Been up in strip clubs and all this other shit, man. I keep that shit the fuck away from me. But at the same time, I'm not looking for no. I'm not looking for no. I'm not gonna be out here hunting for no motherfucking virgin. No, I don't give a fuck about that side of it. As long as I understand everybody has emotions and desires and shit, and you have curiosity that a female is going to explore herself. Okay, so there's respect in that lane. But did you go about it in a classy format? That have you done it in a respectable format? Or have you been the gangbang? Cum dumpster, you know what I'm saying? And it's either going to be one or the other. And you can definitely tell by the way she carries herself, the way she looks, the way she talks. You can tell all of those differences within that space. So let's keep going. Okay. A certain John Jacobs and his wife kept a very well-known children's brothel for 25 years. The children's brothel of David Romaine in Mile End was famous. When it was closed by the police, 3 girls of 15 years were found, on whose prostitution the worthy pair lived. Every possible method of seducing children of both sexes was employed in this establishment. There were often assembled there on Saturday evening 10 to 14 boys in ages from 10 to 15 years for the purpose of the most horrible immorality with the girls. Usually, one of the three little girls was sent out on the streets on Saturday evening in order to entice the boys into the house. When the number and the total sum represented being large enough, they were let into the den of immorality where the other 2 girls naturally visit them. This custom was frequently observed by the police, who often saw 12 boys go into the brothel together. Ryan rightly surmises that the result of these excesses would mean ruin for the boys. The most depraved activities were carried on by William Sheen, like Charlie Sheen, very interesting, who had numerous brothels in the worst districts of the town, Wentworth Street, Spitalfields, and others. He organized regularly pornological clubs where men and women practiced the most horrible immorality with the children. There were always from 30 to 40 children in his brothels. Do you understand me? Okay. Let me see here. What does it say? In the year 1810 was conducted and solely intended for the purpose of procuring and prostituting little girls of under 14. In 1830, there were many children's brothels in London, amongst others that of a certain Maxwell in Betty Street, Commercial Road, Catherine Keeley and Dock Street, Commercial Road, and other brothels in the neighborhood of Bedford Square and Mile End Road. Do you see this shit? So they've been doing this shit. They've been doing this shit. Don't act brand new. I'm not surprised, my nigga. Okay, I am not surprised. You know? Let me see here. Many women who live on the streets have female children, and they have to earn their living. When they are 12 or 13 years old, they are sellable. Yo, B. This shit is illmatic. Okay, so we're going to read this too. Okay. The revelations of the Pall Mall Gazette. So before they were Pall Mall cigarettes, it was a form of newspaper. It was a gazette that was in Europe. Okay. Principally referred to those crimes which study rightly classed as sexual outrages in contradistinction to sexual immorality. To these outrages belong buying, selling, and seduction of children, procuring of virgins, enticing and ruin of women, international girl slave trade. With regard to the first point in particular, the inquiry has collected definite information with which it is impossible to go into here in detail because it was the unspeakable acts. Okay. There is always a demand for virgins, as you call them, fresh girls, as we call them in the trade, and a pander who understands his business has his eyes open in every direction. His stock of girls is always being exhausted, so that he has to be continually filling it up and looking out for suitable numbers in order to keep up the reputation of his house. The hunt for 6 fresh girls takes a good deal of time, but it is simple and fairly easy once one knows the ropes. I myself have been into the country and have disguised myself in all manners of ways in order to get girls. Occasionally, I have worn the dress of a minister. Let the girl believe that I intended to marry her, and so obtained possession of her in order to oblige a good client. How was this done? When I had paid court for some time to my girl, I proposed to her that I should take her to London to show her the sights of the town. I brought her up with me, took her about, and gave her a great deal to eat and drink, particularly to drink. I took her to the theater and so arranged that she should miss the last train. She was now very tired and a little muddled with drink and excitement. and very frightened at finding herself alone in the town without friends. I offered her a suitable lodging for the night. She went to bed in my house, and thus the business was done. My client had a virgin. I received my commission of 10 or 20 pounds sterling, and the next morning, the girl who had lost her character and did not dare go home would, in all probability, do what the others do. She would become one of my numbers, which means that she would earn her living on the streets for the benefit of my house. That is very simple example of the way in which we recruit girls. Another very easy way of obtaining virgins is to breed them. Yo, the white man, bro. I don't want to hear nothing about no nigga doing no pimping. I don't want to hear dog. They been pimping before pimping was pimping. Do you understand, nigga? It's right here. It's right here. You can only get it here, nigga. Look, you can only get the information here. Yeah, we know what you niggas is capable of, and we know what you niggas was doing. Okay, so I want you to take all of that information I just say, correlate that to John Renee Bay or whatever that little girl's name, Benet, John Benet, the little girl doing the little fucking the beauty pageants and shit, and all the beauty pageant shit is on your fucking yeah. You do the beauty pageant, nigga. You be looking at the children and shit. You little freak motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But another layer of this is something that I've found out in a multitude of different civilizations. So even the Chinese talked about this. Older women don't be with the hanky pank. When the 30 years old and 35 years old come around, there'll be an adjustment of the set of the mineral content in the coochie, and the woman be embarrassed. That's why you shouldn't be eating no pussy, because women get crazy smells during the course of their menses out the coochie, and then you putting your face down there, it makes them disrespect you over time. It may feel good, but over time they're gonna lose respect for you because of the shit that they've seen come out that motherfucker in the bathroom that you don't know nothing about. And this is where they always hide, and this is why they got to put on the makeup and got to put on all the perfumes and shit, because their brain gets overly thrown with the fucking disgusting scents that could come out their body. You dig what I'm saying? So you better watch this shit. This is, man, you treading on the motherfucking shit. So here we go. The brother said the brother said straight missionary and go straight to sleep. Well, nigga, we are equipped with the African nose, nigga. Okay? You don't like no doggy style, nigga, on that bitch. You will get a whiff, nigga. That's right. There ain't gonna be no passing it. This is the land of the animal. There is no perfection out in this motherfucker. So let me see here. Okay, let me see. Let me read this last one, because this is very important. This last one right here. In the case of a girl who was given to a man by force for defloration against her will, various methods were employed. Some brothel keepers made use of narcotics. She slept when he did it, and she was fast asleep. To tell the truth, she had been put to sleep, as often happens. I gave her a sleeping draught. It is a mixture of laudanum and something else, chloroform. It is often mixed with it, but I use either snuff or laudanum. We call it black draught. They lie there almost as dead, and the girl first knows in the morning what has happened, and then she cries a great deal with the pain, but she is surprised and hardly knows what has happened, except that she can hardly move from pain. We naturally tell her that everything is all right. All girls have to go through it once. She is over it now without knowing anything about it, and no amount of crying will help. Others try to avoid any scandal by carefully choosing the situation of the house or the room. Many houses had an underground room from which no sound could be heard and which would never be discovered. Do you understand me? What it says, brother? You understand? It says many houses had an underground room from which no sound could be heard and which would never be discovered. Or the room was thickly padded, and thus the cries of the children were inaudible. So they knew how to soundproof rooms back in the 1700s, back in the 1600s, nigga. You understand? In my house, said a highly respectable woman who had a villa in the West End of London, you can gloat over the cries of the girls with the certainty that no one will hear them besides yourself. So the women got down with great ferociousness. Do you see this shit? Okay. In order to taste the full, complete voluptuousness caused by the cries of the immature child, there was no necessity for a padded or underground room. Here is a room where you will be quite safe. The house itself stands in its own grounds. The walls are thick, and a double carpet covers the floor. The only window, which looks on the garden at the back, is doubly protected. First with shutters, then with heavy curtains. You can lock the door and do what you like. The girl can shriek murder till all is blue, but no sound will be heard. The servants will be far away at the other end of the house. I only will be about to see that all is quiet. If some means of stopping the cries is at hand, a cushion, a bed cover, or even a handkerchief, there is no danger at all. To many men, the cries of pain of the tortured girl are the essence of their enjoyment. Ta-da! You see that shit? This is what they was doing, B. This is what they was doing. They said damn near every house in England had its own soundproof chamber. This is, what is going on. So now that you've heard that, and that was going on in the 1600s, 1700s, are you surprised about a Hugh Hefner or a Diddy? No, because we understand the extremes of your culture. And then not only that, this isn't the totality of it. There's far more detailed information. You could probably find it underneath Marquise de Sade or Marquise de Sade. Okay, and then it's Marquise. It's not Marquis. Okay, is how it's enunciated. And you also have to understand that not all white folk got this in their system. Okay, there are the saint categories. Okay, so please understand that. There's the evil, the extreme evil, and then there's the extreme holy who do nothing. Okay, but I'm not going to fully vouch for that because there's much information out there that we haven't fully uncovered. Like I just ran into some shit recently talking about the Jehovah Witnesses. They protect the pedos and all of this other shit, but it's been going down for eons. Do you understand? Um, so this is it. This is the essence of the Diddy party. We have the dancing mania, we have the masquerades, and we have the deforation mania. And this is what's going on. This is why they want the tender. You know what I'm saying? Brother Polite, he lost his mind on the tender. Do you remember? The nigga locked up in jail. You understand? The nature boy, he got lost in the bowels of sexual activity and what you want to call um the deviancy of man, okay, of the flesh. Do you understand? This shit is fucking phenomenal. You see, the whole thing, you don't know why it's phenomenal. All you had to do was go about this shit in the correct format. So when I was 13, 14 years old, when girls at 13, 14 were beautiful to me, older women were beautiful to me. I chased down 13, 14-year-old girl when I was 13, 14. She liked me, I like her, and it went down, brother. What is the fucking problem? They're interested, the classic, I'll show you yours, you show me, I'll show you mine, you show me yours type shit. Yeah. Dr. Umar calls it the lower chakras because he has no lower chakras. Nigga, it's been 20 years. We ain't seen you with a child, and we ain't seen you with a bitch yet. So what the fuck is you doing? Nigga, there's been angry coochie around you. You revolutionary pussy. I don't like revolutionary pussy. Revolutionary pussy is an angry pussy. I don't want angry pussy around me. I need happy pussy that flips great flapjack. Do you understand? I need you to be scrambled eggs. You understand, bitch? I'm like a bitch who's, happy with life. I don't want no angry ass revolutionary, we pan Africa, this and that. I don't want to hear that bullshit coming out no fucking woman's mouth. I like ladies, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Ladies who carry themselves and with prestige. You know what I'm saying? With glamour, with charm. Yeah, we're gonna use the witchcraft words. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. I like women with no makeup. You understand me? Who is comfortable and content with who they are and comfortable and content with their man. Do you understand me? I don't want no revolutionary, angry ass bitch running around here, don't know what to do with her goddamn hair, looking all fucking raggedy and shit. I don't want none of that. You take your ass to church somewhere, bitch. Is what you need to do. Find the Lord. It would be best for you. Do you understand? So yeah, let's keep it goddamn thorough up in here. So kicked out of heaven, as you just heard. 3 little small areas of the book, because the book that this book right here is the most powerful book. Let me show you the most powerful part. Is the most powerful part is right here. Bling, right there. You see that? Bling. 666 pages. The last 6 pages is empty. Mad science up in there. But yeah, if you want the truth about the civilization you live in and those who are running and what they're capable of and what they can reignite at any given moment, which it looks like a lot of these elements may be spilling through our presidency situation right now. You need to be forewarned, and the only way you can be forewarned is by coming here to the Kicked Out of Heaven and buying the 3-volume series. That's the only way you can do it. There is no other source. Because you think you're going to sit there and do this research all day. The majority of the information that's in this literature, like everything that I just read out of those sections, actually come out of books. They don't come off no wiki pages, nigga. Let's keep that very fucking clear. That shit comes out of old books, you know. So yeah. Hold on here. Let me see here. My bad on that. So yeah, let me put the links up in here. Y'all get the books right now. It's You're Kicked Out of Heaven, the most phenomenal material ever written in the 21st century. You know, and donate to the guy 720 as well. Y'all join the moneyreligion.locals. Like I said, I promised y'all stuff on there. That's probably where I'm going to be doing all my street interviews and loading them up there. I might load a couple up here, but you know, the majority of them are going to be going on over there, because it's time for us to put the great minds together, because we're sociologists, and you know what industries that are good for sociology is and when it comes to big money, you know, because I just saw an article the other day of a nigga who killed his therapist, you know, chopped the body up and did all types of crazy shit. It was a black dude too, you know, and he killed his therapist. But so we're not going to be in a position for anybody to commit murder on us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sociology and use it in 2 areas. That's the stock market, and that is sports betting. Okay. And we can run up big bags, you understand me, in both of those departments, especially combined. So that's where we're going to be at. Go to the moneyreligions.locals.com, download the app on your phone. Okay. Give me some time. Things will be showing up there. You know what I'm saying? And let's defend ourselves and keep shit rolling. You dig what I'm saying? How you supposed to, you know? So yeah. And there we go. I'm putting this up. Anybody got any questions about anything I just read? And if anybody got any songs that they want to hear before I go ahead and get up off here, you better say it now, because I'm about to skedaddle. I got some shit to do real quick. You know? So I guess nobody's got anything to say. Donate to the guy 720 for sure, man. I'm the last man standing here for y'all. And I'm not feeding off nobody's podcast. I'm not over here trying to make anybody trying to clown anybody, trying to expose anybody. We're not doing none of that shit. Hero for hire. Okay, stay alive and hero for hire. Okay. And we got him first. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all get at the dopest MC in the game, the dopest entertainer in the game, the dopest author in the game. And the nigga touch my lines yet, nigga. And we gonna see all these niggas collapse like they should, because they played in arts and dealings that they have no understanding in. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Yeah, don't forget to donate for the God, man, so I can stay here doing this for y'all. You dig what I'm saying? So we got 2 tracks coming up. That's Stay Alive and Hero for Hire. Stay Alive comes off the Poltergeist album. And Hero for Hire comes off of the Foot Up a Bitch's Ass. You understand? And don't forget, when it comes to my music, man, when y'all go to sleep at night, let's run over this again, okay? Remind yourself, put a little note in your phone right now, because that's the way these phones are designed, Put a note in your phone right now that when you go to sleep, turn on your Spotify, okay, and put my songs on repeat, on random, and then turn the volume down on your phone. You go to sleep, my shit plays for 7-8 hours while you're asleep, and it builds up my numbers on my streams. You dig what I'm saying? And I do need that right now for a lot of other things that I got working and for what's going to be happening here soon. So let's work on this shit as a team. You know what I'm saying? I'm not over anybody. Let's keep that clear. All of y'all are gods. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way we're going to keep it. So I'm about this motherfucker. We got 2 songs to play. And then by any means necessary, I got you on the next video, which I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I said I'm going to do a video on alcoholism tomorrow. So we're going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because alcoholism plays in this whole shit too, Yeah, but I'm about to play Stay Alive and play Hero for Hire. So appreciate y'all for coming in. Buy the books. Have your family buy the books. If you know anybody in jail, buy the books for them. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, you can go find people in jail and buy the books for them and ship it to them in jail. You dig what I'm saying? You can get on these pen pal sites and you can find all types of motherfuckers that are in jail. There's some bad bitches up in there too. You can find some motherfuckers, send the book to the motherfucker, and you got you a teammate that's gonna mob with you. You dig what I'm saying? And it's very unpredictable on what they can do. But yeah, holla at the guy, man. I'm out this motherfucker. Peace. Stay alive. 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 Ravage like a savage, schizophrenia fun. Have you ever seen a skeleton and breathe with no lungs? All ribs, no tongue, steady bumping on his gums like they cocaine numb. The ungrateful son that takes shit from none. Red rum, come and get you some. Out the lake I come, the ocean depths. I rose from less, turn ghost to flesh. Just go with no nose that got smoke for breath. Come close to death and appreciate life. Cause it might be tonight that you walk to the light and meet the great judge. Cause law don't make love. A bad plus the dove equals OJ's glove. Yo, shit ain't organic, it don't come from the mud. Become gigantic when they think that you young. Slave ship Titanic, the prodigal one on an impossible run. Unlocking a ton from an Antarctica dungeon. Regardless, the heartless is always running. Fuck that smart shit, I'ma keep it 100. Just in case you was wondering, we come for the hunting. Now ain't that something? When slaves dig their own grave all in a day. Gold teeth
for the skull, cause we gonna stay paid. Yes, stump the game, the top hat gon' play for the lost souls that need home, come this way. So shall I say, stay alive. 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 A wizard and gentleman, I'm Pippin O'Gilligan, the Indian, Caribbean, the lizard, amphibian. You come for the rum, for the sugar and cinnamon, but the soul is the gold, just the secret ingredient. And I bet you can't see me in a thin whirlwind. Make your wife my girlfriend, onyx and pearl skin, a vulture and pelican, alligator shoes on, call me Brazilian. My culture American, my diamond Sicilian. When it's French, it's French, at death's expense. Set your spirit on fire till your heart's content. Can't start no shit, it won't make no sense. The poltergeist defense, don't leave no prints. Just give me the men, the abundance is redundant, I must admit. Only betting the pig, so his throat gets slit. I'm a witch doctor, African and Celtic. The meek will inherit the earth until you perish the dirt. This is the state of the art, my nigga, cherish your work. Never embarrassed because it's the dark I lurk. This is Vlad the Impaler, the Ottoman Turk. Shaka Zulu Part 2, just a rebirth. Some of you need church because you breathe your curse. Be thankful for what you got, it could be a lot worse. We all raising it to hell, who gonna be first? The atmosphere my turf. Stay alive. 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 Lucifer's rage. Don't you remember the days we was on the same page? Now we graduated from the 12 gauge to AK. We looking for who's paid. Give a fuck about how it's made. Send that bitch to the blade. Send that snitch to the grave. I am not switching my ways. This is OG Fossil Colossal from Las Vegas to Chicago. My with exotic models. Spend a couple racks, diamond knuckles on the bottle, nigga. Go figure. They wanna talk shit, but that South bitch won't step inside my office. We ain't taking no losses. The crosses, rosary beads. Godfather, you niggas don't know about me. I've kept it OG from the fucking start. This ain't in candy paint. Put a flame to your heart. Lasers follow these bullets as they glow in the dark. Life's a Shakespeare stage and I'm just playing my part. We are displaying the art. Nigga, how about you? Niggas clout chase like that bullshit's a plate of food. This is the state of the rude. Niggas DOA. Over he say, she say, life ain't no replay or a tape to rewind. This is double level, what the fuck is demon time? We shine on this grind just like wisdom deep. The God's ism is deep. An Egyptian priest that mob in a Lambo on beast, dressed in a camel with a piece. The animal beast and don't believe in defeat, and we will never retreat. Say it again, make them kiss the beat, then put two in the wind. For the 7 deadly sins, them boys got thick skin. They be knee deep in. He's a hero for hire. Check the date if used by. It is never expired. Never seen a real nigga that got to retire. Ride out of this pyramid on 4 flat tires. What does the game require? You brag about your money. You do that shit on these streets, you'll be a crash test dummy. We ski mask when we hungry. Surgery for the ugly. No need for mean mugging. This supreme clean thugging. PLR 16 with a green bean dumping. Only cause you staring at me like I'm owing you something. Niggas get pissed and then they post it on their page. This is Lucifer's rage and my name is Luke Cage.